Jeanette is owned and copyrighted by Jeanette, Company Gallery, and Company Media. All rights reserved.
What are we doing? Hi, I'm Jeanette. This is my show. I speak with fascinating people about fascinating things. And today I'm speaking to a good friend of mine, someone I've known for a long time, the writer, curator, and director, Ebony L. Haynes. Hi, Ebony.
Hi, Jeanette.
So you are the director of 52 Walker, a commercial gallery space that acts more like a Kunsthalle.
That acts a little like a Kunsthalle, for sure, yeah.
Okay. And in brief, the differences being that there are fewer shows a year at your space.
Yeah, there are. So instead of having what an average commercial gallery would have around, 6 to maybe 10 for ambitious gallery shows per year, I have 4.
Yeah.
I don't represent artists like most galleries. I don't do art fairs, but I do sell the work. So there's the commercial part.
Right. And with the fewer number of shows, you have a lot more time for like research, development, production.
Yeah, lots more time for me as the curator, a lot more time, at least a year for each artist, for each show.
Oh, wow.
And every show gets a book.
Yeah, this is amazing. So I was looking at them today because I was in the gallery. Mm-hmm. They look amazing.
Thank you.
The uniformity is great. And
I was actually inspired by a Cy Twombly drawing books. This set of books that I really like.
Tar, did you see Tar, that movie?
I don't think so.
She has all of her her music in these volumes that are very uniform, and she goes to look at them at some point, and they just look gorgeous. And I was like, "This is that. That's fantastic."
Yeah, that's the idea of somebody buying and collecting the books.
Yeah,
like just have them serially on their
shelf. Yeah, Ken, who works at Company Gallery, he and I were talking earlier about Supreme box logo tees and about how there was this man who collected all of them from the beginning. And then
really?
I think last year he took them to Christie's and sold them all, but it's similar idea. The collectors you get to have from one to
just keep. We're going to actually start subscriptions.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can make sure you get all 4 each year, and then you can opt out.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
When does the book come out in relation to the exhibition?
This has been a problem for me in publishing.
Okay.
For the first time in such a formal way. It really takes a year.
Wow.
Because of the fact that the works in the book are from the show.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a real color correcting, layout, design, test phase, commission. Then we have to commission text. But we want the text or the writer to come and visit the show. So it all has to happen post the show closing. From the show closing date.
Okay.
And then it goes into production.
Yeah.
And that ends up being about a year. We're trying to shorten that. I designed them to be serial.
Right.
To cut down on that time.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but
books are hard.
Books are hard.
Books are hard. Which is an element that brings me to the current show.
Yeah.
The show right now is 2 of your favorite artists,
yes.
Gordon Matta Clark and Pope L. A lot of their work we only get in reproduction. Mm-hmm. And so can you talk a little bit about the show that you have up now?
Sure.
And then can we go into why they are your favorite artists?
Sure. Okay, I'll start with favorites.
Go.
So I didn't come from a traditional sort of art background where I studied in undergrad and went to school and knew that it's what I was going to do. So I came to art what I would consider later in my career. And I was really attracted early on to artists like Gordon, whose practices were maybe not so contained or rigid, or what people now call interdisciplinary or multimedia or conceptual. Only because I felt like I could wrap my head around it easier, not having any kind of what I felt at the time was formal enough training.
Okay.
I realize now that doesn't really matter, but it was intimidating, and I was just allowing myself to be drawn to whatever I was drawn to. So in that time, it looked like practices like Gordon and Smithson, a lot of film, a lot of sound, things that I felt I could technically understand more than a painting. I didn't really understand how to formally discuss painting or works on paper, a little bit more photography. Like I was just getting comfortable with certain practices. And I mean, I saw a video of Gordon Matta Clark cutting a hole in a building.
When you were how old?
I was in grad school.
Okay.
It was a conversation about performance art. And I thought that was so interesting to think about it being a performance and how to document the performance and what that artist practice looks like to someone like Matta Clark. So I've always been a fan of Gordon Matta Clark. And Popel, I've also always been a fan of. I actually worked with him in 2015. I was a director at Mitchell Wilson Nash. And I really took that job so I could work with him.
Oh.
The gallery was fantastic also, but
yes.
I mean, once that was a possible gallery, I made it clear that that's who I wanted to work with. I wrote about him in my final thesis, and I really knew the practice.
Amazing.
And also, again, performance artist who makes objects and installations, but the document is the thing, or the ephemeral objects became the thing. So they were just two artists I was drawn to very early. And I think their practices are really similar. You know, the way in which they perform the work, their attempts to document it, to materialize it in some way.
When I look at a photo of a Gordon Matta Clark hole, I don't really know. I know that it's a straight photograph. I know that we're not playing with digital manipulation, but I don't know up from down. And the same happens with Popel's work.
Sure.
Physically, even though you're standing in front of it, like the fountain, I think that was, what was it?
Martos.
In Martos. Like you're like, I don't know where the ground is. I don't know where where am I? Yeah.
Yeah, they both play with, you know, there's this problematics of like scale, and they kind of like to fuck with ideas of what is an institution or what is value and what is
totally.
art and what is a performance.
Yeah, there's a humor.
Gordon didn't have a burgeoning career when he was alive.
Right.
And I think I talked about this a lot with Popel. Like Popel has what he would consider a career now, but it wasn't that in the 70s.
Right.
But practices that are hard to sort of exhibit or commercialize or quantify as things.
Yeah.
So this show was really fun to put together, thinking through those things.
Yeah.
So the title of the show, Impossible Failures, comes from two bodies of works one from each artist. Popel is the failure drawings he's been making since 2003.
Yeah.
And Gordon Matta Clark are these drawings called impossible projects that he referred to on his own as impossible projects.
So then you built that little wall that has that little hallway that goes down to what is the title of the video?
That's a Popel video. It's called Dust Eater, aka White Woman Eating Donut.
Right.
And that's the AKA is what it is. It's a white woman eating a donut.
Yeah.
But Popel, so she's eating this donut and he films it from underneath.
Okay.
And then he inverts the image and kind of like chops and screws it up and distorts it and stretches it.
Right. The screen is sitting in a bit of wall that was cut out, and then there's dust and everything on the floor. Does Popel instruct that gets cut out? Or why was that part of the wall cut out?
That's a good question. This show was interesting because I'm dealing with an estate, so the artist is not present to chime in. And the estate was really great, and they kind of gave me a lot of freedom, curatorially and artistically. Popel also gave me a lot of freedom.
Okay.
He's in Chicago, and he teaches full-time, so he wasn't on site very much. But because I know his practice really well, I know that he likes to create intimate viewing experiences for his videos. Normally he has a viewing booth or something that feels narrow for you to be in front of the screen. Yeah. So I proposed a hallway and he was into it. I proposed cutting the wall because he has works where he cuts walls. Yeah. He hasn't installed screens in them before, but he wrote something called hole theory. I mean, he and Gordon, that's another major connection, is they like engage with holes. Yeah. And what it means to be in the void and what's inside versus outside. Like, are you looking in or are you looking out? Aesthetically, just superficially, I liked the idea of cutting the wall and exposing the studs. So he was fine with it. But the dust collecting on the ground was totally Popel's request.
Okay.
It's like, if you're going to cut anything, he said, I think we should keep the dust. And I said, that sounds like a cool idea.
Yeah.
So we did.
I loved that moment in there. Again, going back to like, it felt very much like you don't know what's up and down in that video. And you don't know, like, AKA the white woman needed don't, but you don't really know.
Yeah, you don't
and
really
then with the wall cut out, it seemed such a direct reference of Gordon Clark, not knowing the ground. And I was just like, this is a perfect moment. It's great.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great video. The sound is cool.
Yeah. And it's about me as a white woman, which is always
eating
nice.
a donut. Once
Eating
you
a
realize
donut.
what it is, you
Yeah.
can kind of see the mouth
Yeah, a
and
little
donut,
bit, yeah.
You start to make it
But I'm
out.
glad you told me this from down here, because I was like, where is
Yeah.
the camera? What's happening? Yeah.
And the sound is just this distorted sound of someone eating that wasn't mic'd properly.
Oh, okay. So also, the videos are on the wall, and that one Gordon Clark video goes straight into the corner. Mm-hmm. Have they been shown that way before? I've never seen them
No,
going
they
into the
haven't been
corner.
shown that way before. It was again a request I had to the estate to let me play with the architecture of the gallery.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of ways to really engage Gordon in the space without just having it on a screen or like a projection. So each film is reacting to the architecture of the space in some way. So Conical Intersect, that one where he famously cuts a big hole in what is soon to be the Pompidou, is in the corner. And then there's another one when you walk into the gallery that it's kind of inspired the size of the projections. It's so large that he's cutting the facade of a house, and there's one part where the door of the house lines up with the door of the gallery.
Okay.
So you have to kind of walk through it, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So yeah, I'm trying to make them all sort of interact with the space in a particular way.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I don't know what the Gordon Clark experts say, but I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was great.
Chimed in yet.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, they're coming. Really. I hope they're coming. Ooh. Okay, so.
Me too.
What is up next?
Next is Bob Thompson.
Okay.
Who is a painter who was not very prolific, but he didn't live for a very long time.
How old was he when he
passed? He was 35.
He was that young too?
Yeah.
Oh my God, everyone's so young.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not that much work, but I've wanted to do a show with Bob's work for like 5 years.
Okay.
And it just so happened that there was a show at the Colby Museum in Maine 2 years ago that has since toured to a few institutions. It's not touring to my gallery, but it kind of it felt like there was this moment that there was renewed interest in Bob. Okay. So I curated my own show.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And so painting.
First painting show.
This is exciting. And what...
For a painter.
Yeah, as a painter, I'm very excited about this.
Too. It's not because I'm anti-painting.
I know, this is what I was going to ask. So you have stated this before.
Well, people think I'm I don't like painting, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love painting.
We love painting.
It just so happens that this is how the program works out. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's not like I'm not trying to keep painting down or out of the program.
Painting has a lot of support.
Yeah,
it's
there's
okay.
a lot of support.
There's a lot of support.
But I think it goes back to the practices that I was initially really drawn to, which were very or seemingly much more interdisciplinary, or something that was not categorized as like not a photographer or not a sculptor or not a painter, just because I felt like I couldn't enter into that conversation as easily.
Right. So how has it been working for like the parent company, David Zwirner, sort of in contrast to earlier experiences in your career? How much control do you have now versus in other galleries?
I think that control is an interesting word. I think that 52 Walker feels as much as a space that I have control over as possible without owning it. You know, I don't own 52 Walker, but the model with which we operate the space was my idea, and I think everyone that I work with and for acknowledges that. So I
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's
it's
incredible.
Been great. I mean, it's not like there's no ceiling though. I don't want everyone
Right.
to be like, you can do
No,
whatever you want.
Right.
I mean, I'm responsible to a business. I have experience of 10 years of being director of galleries, and I'm beholden to my staff and operations, and, financially there are obligations, and I don't want to be, in the red for people who are interested in budget things. I don't want to create a model that is not sustainable. I do want to veer from a traditional model. So there's control. There's control that is conservative.
Okay.
So I guess control, I'm just assuming having control means that you can just go off and do whatever you want, which in some ways I can, but in a conservative and mindful way.
Right. I mean, you put forward, okay, what is incredible is that what you just said, you put forward the idea.
Yeah.
This is your idea. So you proposed it knowing the boundaries, understanding the boundaries that are set.
I proposed it knowing that there would be boundaries.
Right.
And it still feels very new. I mean, we've only had a year of programming. We're in our second. And then those boundaries, shift with how every show goes and what the fiscal year, like the year looks like. And I'll adjust, or maybe I don't have to adjust. But I mean, I knew there would be boundaries, but there haven't been any glaring vetoes.
Right. Okay.
But I don't just, I'm not trying to be transgressive.
No.
Right. So I wouldn't, if I was proposing a show and there was adamant vetoes from David or whomever, even if it wasn't necessarily someone who's considered my superior in that direct way, I wouldn't just be like, I would be just like, fuck you, I'm doing what I want. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
Nobody really, it's I'm approaching it as a curator, so there's no need for them to veto it as I'm presenting my curatorial proposal for shows.
Yeah.
So far it's been fine.
Yeah. It's exciting. I think it's exciting. I know that this might sound antiquated, but for me it's still exciting that a woman is in the position that you're in. It is, to me, also a female thing that there has to be these kind of statements to the camera about how you recognize the boundaries. I don't think too many men would feel the need to do that, but it is true. Very exciting that...
Well, you know why I do that? Because...
Go.
It is a lot of things are still very sexist and racist, and it's easy for people to make assumptions, and if I don't clarify. So people like to make assumptions like, oh, it's an all-black gallery. It's not. Or Ebony was given this opportunity by her male boss. I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I do feel the need sometimes to you're right, clarify before.
Right. I understand
the big D energy comes in the room.
Yeah.
And it's yes, I know about business. Okay, I'm not just some girl putting on shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally understand. You want things to be the way that you're pushing them towards, and so you have to say, I recognize the rules, I understand the boundaries, I'm going to keep moving forward.
And women, and especially Black women, have to do that even more.
Yeah.
I mean, showing and proving, placating everyone, or you're kind of just dealing with a lot of personalities who assume that you're not capable before you do anything. So you have to learn all of the things to make sure everyone knows why you don't want to do that thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to them saying you don't know how to do it. It's no, I know how to do it. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
For this reason. So you do have to do the extra work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do it very well.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted.
Oh my God, I'm sure. And very pregnant.
And I'm very pregnant.
Exhausted.
I hope this camera is cutting off my belly.
I hope it shows it.
Let's edit it. I'm very pregnant.
I hope it shows that you are very impressive.
I'm having a Rihanna moment. Everybody's giving me my Rihanna love.
That's
I'm
good.
Oh, Rihanna announces her pregnancy, and all of a sudden it's fabulous. I've been pregnant for 9 months.
And I have another one.
So
there's that. Well, it's all very impressive.
Thank you.
We have one more thing to go over.
Okay.
How do you feel about my artwork?
Oh, your artwork is some of the painting that I know how to talk about. I was actually just talking about it today.
Oh my God, really?
I was talking about you and Danielle McKinney. I don't know if
Okay.
you know that
Yeah,
painter.
absolutely.
This is real. I actually talked about this today with a collector.
That's great.
Who, I don't know if we
Great.
can mention. Can we mention and cut it out? I'll just tell you so
Yeah.
you know.
Go.
Bleed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so anyways, I didn't know that and was showing him something and I was like, did you happen to see Jeanette Mundt's installation in Basel? And he was like, oh my gosh, Jeanette Mundt's from Company. And then we started talking and I was talking about what it is I like about an artist doing a self-portrait that is not about the way the figure looks. It's more about, there's something about the composition and the like the form and the lighting. And I was talking about you and Danielle McKinney.
Amazing.
As people who I think are doing those things.
Amazing.
That's the whole conversation I had about 3 hours ago.
Fantastic.
I hate your work.
Thank you so much. Fantastic.
No, I
Genius.
think you have painting that I feel comfortable talking about, which is
so good.
which is whether I like one piece over another or not.
Yeah.
For me, it's not like I don't even know if I like or hate every painting. That's not the point. The point is that I feel excited talking. I can talk about your work. So, given everything I've said, I think I've proven that's all that really matters to me. If I feel I can talk about it, then
yeah,
it's great.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I mean, you can do what it's your show. You
It's
should
my
do what
show.
you want.
It's my show.
You want to close out on this camera, Jeanette?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
She's like, oh no, there's more?
What am I saying? Bye.
Thanks.
I'm Jeanette. Genius.
But if they don't, then they should pay the consequences.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's true.
Don't prompt them.
No.
If they've come on to be interviewed by someone and haven't Googled them,
fuck you.
Yeah, it's their fault.
Your fault. Truth. Truth to power.
Yeah.
We're speaking truth to power.